all the way from Battle River Crowfoot. We have the brave Sarah Spanier. Am I saying this right?
Spanier, close enough. Everybody gets it wrong.
Spanier. Okay, and you're running against Pierre Marcel Poilievre. I'd never heard of him, and apparently the people in the riding he was previously running in had never heard of him either because he couldn't win a seat out east. Is that true?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who this Pierre guy is that you're talking about either, but sounds like he's not doing too great in the polls these days.
Apparently he's the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada. Yeah, I'm not certain that he's a real person. You say you're not a career politician, Sarah. Um, what makes you think you can win against these impossible odds? It's kind of like David and Goliath.
You know what? I think I can win because I am coming from a place of compassion and empathy. And I have a significant amount of experience in grant writing and things that would bring funding back to the riding. And I have left-leaning views and I have right-leaning views. And I think that that's very beneficial for a riding like this. So I think I'm the best choice.
Of course, you have to say that little bit of balance. You've recently been to Drumheller, Alberta,
Mhm.
where there's the home of the giant, the biggest Stegosaurus or the biggest Brontosaurus in the world or something.
T-Rex.
The T-Rex. Okay,
Yeah.
the biggest T-Rex. Well, I'm a bit of a dinosaur myself, and this is the lowest budget show on the internet, so I doubt if you'll get any votes from this. But we like to root for the underdog here at Gong Show Tarot. And the reason I had you on is because I see you putting yourself out there every day. You're putting yourself out there on Facebook through social media. I know you've been door knocking. Um, what's the response been like in rural Alberta?
It at first it was not great, um, but as we progressed, it's gotten better and better. I'm having conversations with people who were such strong Pierre supporters, or were just absolutely just trashing me and saying the worst language ever. To you know what you're saying makes sense. You have a plan. You have things ready to go and you're showing that you're putting in the work and people are starting to realize that, so the tone has shifted. And based off, like, if I look at my analytics online, I've just like shot up too. It's crazy.
So you're starting to get some traction.
Mhm.
Is there enough time? When is the day when this big vote happens?
10 days from now.
10 days from today. So there's not much time left. So, if you're not registered to vote, guys, get out there. Whether you're voting for Sarah or whomever, I believe there's many candidates. Yes, there's like a huge number of independent candidates or something.
Yes, over 200 independent candidates, but there's only about 10 of us actual candidates that are like legitimate, the ones who have been
Yeah,
to the forums and are
it's
showing up
crazy.
and doing all that.
My my friend Doug is running against you. He's running for the Green Party. Have you met Doug?
I have met Ashley, the Green Party representative.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, you'll meet Doug. I'm assuming he's somewhere hiding under a tree. He's probably hugging a tree somewhere in Battle River Crowfoot. Of course I have to root for Doug because he's my buddy. Uh, but I'm rooting for anyone that's willing to have the strength to stand up against what I think all of us in Canada are feeling. We're seeing massive cuts to arts, heritage. Um, People are starving. Um, like many Canadians, I woke up this morning and went, where am I going to live? Uh, what am I going to do? Um, are they going to bring in universal basic income? What is your stance on universal basic income?
I like the core idea of it. I think we need to do a lot more research on it before I actually say yes or no to it. But I do love the idea of everybody having some type of stable income every month, because the social benefits and everything and the economy growth that does come from it are are beneficial. We just need to worry about things like inflation prices and stuff like that. So there needs to be a
Yeah.
nice balance, but I do think I think it would be beneficial to a lot of people, especially in rural areas.
Now, you have a background in child care management, is that correct?
I do, yes, and advocacy as well.
Okay, so I think that makes you very well equipped to deal with the House of Commons because they act like a bunch of children 90% of the time. So I think we need more managers. Elizabeth May, I met her a couple of weeks ago, a lovely, lovely lady. Maybe if elected, you'll get to sit next to someone like Elizabeth. Um, how would you hold those people accountable? As an independent in the House, how do you do that? Because you're kind of alone.
You know what, in a minority government, though, independents are the ones who hold the power. They're the ones that are going to be the decision makers in how whether a vote passes or not. And that is a type of leverage that I don't think a lot of people are aware of. And that's how I can help hold the parties accountable. If you have a bill that is it's got some like gross language in it, it's going to restrict some freedoms or something like that. I don't have to vote for that. And I can be a reason why that doesn't pass. And I mean, I don't know if you've seen much on my social media, but I will call out anyone and everyone without holding anybody's hand.
I have been
So
watching. I mean, I haven't seen every video, but I have been watching. And I think the best thing you're doing is just getting out there because people want to see that you're a real person. This is the age that we live in, and a lot of these politicians, I'm seeing them kind of backpedal and not put themselves out there. And I think you have to be right there in front of people, and you have to be talking to them. It has to be a dialogue. Now, in the past, politics is a nasty business. I've seen it destroy people. I've seen people become very jaded, even family members. After being in politics, there's a lot of what they refer to as mudslinging. Um, can we avoid that going forward? Is that something that I think most Canadians want to see a higher level of dialogue.
I agree, but I also think that there needs to, I mean, mudslinging, no, but there needs to be calling people out and holding people accountable. And it can be done in, you know, the way I do it, I like the way I do it because I'm not holding anybody's hand while I do it. And I think that that can be done as long as you are ensuring that what you're saying is accurate because everything I say, I can back up. I know that. And I know other politicians can't. So I think it's time that we just, start telling the truth, which
Hmm.
seems to be really
Hmm.
hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I see that you have an apple there. Is that for your campaign manager? Is he hungry? Are
No,
you guys hungry? I spent 60 cents on a banana this morning, which I thought
oh,
was kind of pricey, but
that is actually, that is for a banana.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is that good for a banana? I don't know. I
That's,
have no
that's,
idea. Is
no,
Chris there?
my,
Chris can come on too if he wants. Chris, do you want to come on and talk about the no? Chris
I'm
says
behind the
no, I'm
camera.
not coming on.
No,
Uh
I'm behind the camera. I mean, I can come
behind
on.
the man behind the scenes. Yeah.
Hold
Okay,
on.
childcare management. Thespians, how do you feel about thespians? My background is theater. I studied flagrant dancing in post-secondary. I don't recommend doing it. Um, there's a lot of jobs in theater, but it's suffering because of cuts. Um, as you're finding out, being a politician is very expensive. I have a fundraiser right now as well. We're all trying to raise money in various ways. My question is, where you have conservative, you're fiscal conservative. So how do you support the arts if it's not by government subsidy? Because in the past, arts and culture and heritage has been heavily subsidized. So as a fiscal conservative, how do you solve that problem?
so when I say fiscally conservative, I want to manage the money better. We have seen this past year that elected officials spent $187.8 million. That is disgusting.
A lot of
That
money.
and that's just on their expenses. That's on top of their $209,000 that they get. It averages to $550,000 per MP.
178
So,
million. Wild.
right? And
Yeah.
that money could go towards the arts and stuff like that. Manage the money better. Don't waste it on things. And if they
Yeah.
want to have a little party, save up like the rest of us.
Yeah.
They can live the same way we do. And I want these social programs to come in because I think they're important. That's mental health. That's important to me. But it comes at managing government spending properly. It can be done.
Yeah, of course. Well, Pierre wants to cut the Senate. He wants to abolish the Senate. Um, is that a good place to cut, or do we need that House of Sober Second Thoughts?
I I don't know. Pierre wants to do a lot of things that
Well, he talks a lot. He talks a
he
lot.
was, yeah, he was talking about some pickup truck ban that's non-existent. He's trying to get everybody mad about it, and it's just
A
I
pickup
don't
truck.
know.
What is it? A pickup truck band?
Yeah, he's been going
Oh,
around the forums talking about how
Have been banned.
how they have been banned and they're
oh,
not.
interesting. No, I don't think that's true. So, I mean, that's something I can ask you about. There's a lot of I mean, I can say this because I'm kind of a redneck, I guess. Uh, Alberta is known for having a lot of rednecks, people that like hunting, they like snowmobiling, they like jacking their trucks up and driving them around in the mud. And there's nothing wrong with that. Um, but it has a certain stigma attached to it. How do you convince those guys to vote for you?
To listen to them, to listen to what they have to say. And I believe a lot of the issues between our left and our right and the way that we argue, it comes down to miscommunication. Because when it comes to the economy, the left and the right want the same things. They want a stable future. They want to be able to live not paycheck to paycheck. They want food in the fridge. And we're just going at it a different way, and each side thinks they're right when they're both right. They're just talking at each other instead of with each other. And I've been able to explain to some of those people who may not have wanted to vote for me initially that, hey, if I'm here to listen, I'm here to understand, I hear what you're saying, and I have a plan that works towards what you want if you're willing to listen to what I have to say. So it's just breaking down barriers.
So in the bustling metropolis of Stettler, Alberta, when you were talking to the people there, it went very well. Like, what were people saying? What were they talking about? What was important to the people of Stettler, Alberta?
In Stettler, a lot of people are talking about healthcare, which I understand is a
Healthcare,
provincial issue. But then we also have a lot of small businesses that are, worried about their doors closing, especially after COVID. There's tourism that is slowing down and everything. And people just want somebody who will actually represent them and fight for them. And that's something that I'm more than happy to do for everybody here.
yeah. Okay. Tourism, that's an important topic because if we're supporting agendas like 15-minute cities, are you familiar with 15-minute cities?
Yep.
That's going to deeply impact tourism, particularly in remote areas. There's a heritage town up here called Barkerville, which has been suffering for many years now because of COVID, but also because of the cost of petroleum. It's very expensive to drive now anywhere. And because this idea that if we have everything within 15 minutes of us, nobody's going to travel anymore.
I'm going to challenge you on that because I think that might come down more to people just not having the funds to go do these things. We we are all living paycheck to paycheck, and
Yeah,
if I have to choose between food or going to a tourist destination, I'm going to pick food. And
of
we're
course,
seeing we're seeing that with, certain businesses like hair salons, tattoos, like those like businesses that tend to
of
suffer when we
course.
get into
Yeah.
recessions.
Wages have not kept up with the cost of inflation. If you look at a graph, you'll see wages just kind of doing this, and then inflation is, doing that. So that's something that we need to talk up to business owners at every level. The other side of that is if you're a small business owner, you can't afford to pay people more either. So that's a
Mhm.
big problem because if you raise wages, then inflation continues to climb. So, I'm not a financier, how do we fix this problem? Because it kind of feels like a runaway train.
For what I can speak to locally in Battle River Crowfoot would be taking funding and grants from the budget, and that would that doesn't require raising taxes or anything because that's already built into the budget. And ensuring that the small businesses here are heard and that they are developing and that they are excelling within the the money that they are given.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
trying to find my words. My apologies.
that's
The
okay.
grants
Hey,
that are
don't apologize.
the grants
You're
that
too
come
kind.
back.
You're way too polite. And I
I'm
mean,
Canadian.
yeah, you're Canadian, but this, I mean, you're getting to such a nasty business, and you've already had some people come at you, which I'll apologize for, because I feel bad that people are nasty in these ways. Um, some people might be worried. Now, you've probably heard from the conspiracy crowd, yes? Is there? Uh, just a second, Sarah. Sorry, I just have to pause here.
Person. Um, you did we lose you? Or are you still there?
I'm still here. I'm just finding a better spot.
Oh, I
Oh,
heard that.
oh,
Oh, okay, we're
Okay.
back. We're back.
Okay.
I just asked the campaign manager, Chris, if you have any party. Perfect. There's the
And we're
gong.
back.
And we're back. I just asked the campaign manager, Chris, Sarah's campaign manager, if you have any former party affiliation at all.
So my answer to that is I've never been a card carrying conservative, but I had been influenced in my younger years. I'm mid 50s now. So 25 years ago, in environments that I worked in, the only newspapers that were ever sitting on the lunchroom table were Toronto Sun and other right leaning sources. So my ideology was based on the information that I took in and uh, on the people that I was surrounded by, and it was only as I aged and matured and changed who I had around me that my ideology started to shift from blaming everybody else for everything that's wrong or blaming even specific groups. Even back then, 25, 30 years ago, the headlines were still immigrants bad, liberals bad. Uh,
Mm,
and now I have an ideology. Instead of blaming everybody, who do we need to help to lift everybody up so that
yeah,
everybody's taken care of? Because that then solves all our problems with people being taken care of. You asked about UBI earlier,
I
and
did. Yeah,
there was a pilot project not far from my hometown that was incredibly successful. People were being lifted up out of poverty, starting small businesses, starting to get their feet, under them. And the conservative Doug Ford government came in and killed the pilot program, and all those people ended up back on social assistance. So, we're solving a problem, and then we
yeah,
take away the supports, and
yeah.
the thing I think people miss the most when we talk about UBI, there's this demonization that people who accept UBI are just sitting on their couch, playing video games, drinking, smoking, doing drugs. And the thing that they forget is,
The
while
stigma,
that
the
might be a
stigma.
small percentage of the people, well, it still might be some of the people that are on UBI that may take advantage of the
Yeah,
system and do that. But the majority of those people are going out. Now they can afford groceries. Where are they buying them? Local. Now they
yeah,
can afford clothes. Where are they buying them? Local. The
exactly.
local economic stimulus because of UBI and the disconnect in educating people as to what that actually means is it's a chasm. It's a giant chasm between the reality of what making sure people have food on the table is versus this demonization from
Yeah,
the right and the
yeah.
far right that
I
it's
think
just freeloaders.
everyone sitting in Ottawa should experience homelessness maybe for a couple of weeks just to see what it's actually like. I think that would be a good project, and it might turn some light
Yeah, I wish
bulbs
they
on.
would.
Yeah, I think it would be a great initiative to, I mean, it's probably not very feasible, but in a perfect world, they would know what's actually going on as opposed to what the stigma is. Okay.
mhm.
Do good recklessly. What does this mean? I saw this on a t-shirt. What does this mean? Do good recklessly.
So I actually have it tattooed on me.
Oh, it's your
Um,
tattoo. Okay.
it's my tattoo, yeah.
Yeah.
And to me, it just means, do good regardless of what the situation is, If it is, helping somebody just by opening a door, right? Just do good regardless of what it looks like.
I
It's
like
just
that. I
it's a
like that
saying
a lot.
I heard it during COVID and I immediately was like, I need that tattooed on me. That is such a good saying. And it's kind of how I try to live my life.
The time has come. I'm shuffling the cards. Thank you for coming on, Sarah Spanier, and your your benevolent campaign manager, Chris Potter. Thank you for coming on the program. I appreciate
Thank
you
you for
guys.
having us.
I think you're fighting the good fight. You are underdogs. What will you do if you're not elected? Will you go back to childcare?
I want to keep doing this.
We're
I
gonna
want
keep
to keep
doing
doing
it.
this
Okay.
100%.
You're addicted.
I believe in what I'm doing and I know other Canadians believe in what I'm doing, so I can do it. I'm going to do it.
Otter. You're the otter. There you go. So
We
you
were
can
actually watching otter videos earlier today.
were you really? What a weird
Yeah, we were.
coincidence. All right. I'll look it up in the book. Let's see what it says about otter. Do you like the water? Do you like to swim?
I love swimming. I used to live on Vancouver Island, so I'd go to the beach all the time.
You lived on Vancouver Island? Well, Battle
I
River
did for a
Crowfoot
few
must be
years.
a very nice place if you moved from Vancouver Island to there.
I
Check out
love it
Stettler,
here. I
everyone.
mean, I moved here willingly because this is what I wanted.
This is good. This is a good card. Unobstructed joy, playfulness, contentment. Perhaps the most joyful creature within the animal spirit deck. The otter represents absolute bliss. Otter energy is the playfulness of a child, available to us at any age. They have a giddiness and reverence for life itself, without the presence of doubt, worry, or skepticism.
Hmm,
Imagine, imagine.
sounds like
So I'm going to say to you, Sarah Spanier,
Spanier.
Spanier. I'll get it right eventually. I'm going to say to you the same thing that I said to Douglas Gook. Be brave enough to believe that you can win, and then others will believe that you can win.
Oh, 100%. I already have people who've said they've already voted for me with advance
Right
polls
on.
open today. So
Right on. Let's see if we can win against the oligarchs this time. We'll try.
I would love it. I would love
Okay.
it.
Thanks for coming on. Thank you, Chris. Have a great rest of
Thank
your
you.
day. I appreciate
You
you
as
taking the
well.
time. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye.